Thank you, sir. All right, but my first guest is a best-selling author, Emmy award-winning comedian, and political commentator who recently returned from entertaining our troops overseas. And he's a good man to do it. Please welcome Al Franken. I have to say, Al, you're the first guest that we've had on who's been actually entertaining the troops.
It's great. I've done it actually 3 times.
Yeah.
3 years in a row.
Really?
I love it.
And it's been going well? The morale is good?
They are. I love our military.
Yeah.
I really do.
And I know this is you, a lot of people are patriotic now, and I know that you have some sort of leftist political views, people might say.
Liberal,
you have
yeah.
Liberal, a lot of liberal friends. Are you and your friends patriotic as well?
I certainly, a lot of people have caught up in you know, this patriotic fervor. A friend of mine who I wouldn't expect, first thing he did was he went to his closet, got out his old America t-shirt. It took him about 4 hours to white out sucks.
Had to get rid of that. Now he's okay.
Yeah.
And so is everyone doing their part? Is he doing his part, this friend of yours?
He right away, he wanted to do something, so he pledged to stop buying heroin. Hit the Taliban in the pocketbook. That's what,
Now, what about your old nemesis, President Bush? Do you actually...
He's not my nemesis.
Not your nemesis, but...
I did support Vice President Gore, but
Right.
I think President Bush is doing a very, very good job.
You do think he's doing a good job?
Well, we're doing a good job over
Yeah,
there. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm totally for it. He still is not, you know, his language isn't his strength, you know. A few things, evildoer.
Evildoers.
Evildoers, not, you know, it's an awkward word. What's funny is that, you know, he started using evildoers, and I think the rest of the administration, rest of the people in the administration, decided they should start saying evildoers too.
Sort of make them look good, supportive?
Yeah, make it look like it's an actual word. And most guys, like Ari Fleischer says evildoers all the time. You know, he's kind of shameless, but you look at, watch Cheney sometimes slip it in, because it's something like he'll say, this war is not about fighting Islam. It's about eradicating the evildoers.
He's doing the best he can.
He's trying to buck up the president.
Now, am I wrong? It's been a while now. It's been a couple of months, but they had a little trouble naming the operation.
Yes. They made some missteps. I think it was Operation Infinite Justice at first, and that was a bad idea. And also Bush called it our operation a crusade, which was kind of not so...
Not a good...
My
given the
idea
historical context.
I think what they should have done right at the beginning is just get a Pakistani cab driver from D.C. into the White House and just run the stuff by him.
Right.
Operation Infinite Justice, oh no. No, only Allah can bestow infinite justice. Please do not call it that. What else? Oh no, not crusade. No, please do not call it the crusade. Whatever whose idea was, but don't call it that, please. So, but they got their communications thing going now.
Now, and you've been out there with the military. It's been very effective so far, our military.
You know, one thing we learned is that bombing works, even in Afghanistan, which Afghanistan doesn't have many targets, but
Right.
we've flown. For example, we've flown over 2,800 sorties, dropped over 50 tons of ordnance, and done $39 in damage. But we are a compassionate nation, Conan, and when this is all over, we're going to put the rocks and dirt back where they were before the bomb.
I feel better about us.
Yeah,
that we're going to do that. Now, the United States is doing things which are pretty effective, which is freezing the assets of the Al-Qaeda, the terrorist network.
Well, you know, President Bush said, and rightly so, that this is a very different kind of war. We're going to use very different tools, or a lot of different tools: military, diplomacy, financial, intelligence. Here's a tool that I think that we should keep on the table: torture.
Torture.
Yeah. Now, we have like a lot of detainees. I'm not talking about all of them. I'm talking about, you know, the guy who has an apartment in Paterson, New Jersey, who was inquiring about crop dusting.
Right.
That guy knows something, you know?
Right.
And, you know, I know he's willing to die for his cause, but is he willing to take a hot poker up the ass? That's my, you know, I'm just asking.
It's okay. You're just asking.
I'm
That's
just
all
asking.
Yeah.
I'm just asking. You know he wants to go to paradise.
Right.
To service the 72 virgins. Does he believe he can do that after we crush his? I'm just asking.
It's a question.
It's a question. It's a question.
Now, of course, there's a difference here. We are very high tech. Our forces, their forces, they're fighting essentially a guerrilla war.
Yeah. Different militaries. There's one thing we have in common with the Taliban, our military, is that neither of us allow women in combat. They take it a step further. They don't allow women to go outside.
It's the next step.
Or to look up.
Right. Right.
Or to hum.
No humming. I didn't know that.
No. No, they don't.
Was Jesse Jackson involved at some point?
Well, early on, you remember Jesse Jackson, and people don't like the Taliban. That's fair to say.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah. When you can't get a crowd behind you on that.
Yeah.
Crowd's like, whoa!
I think most Americans don't trust the Taliban. But you remember early on, Jesse Jackson announced that the Taliban had called him about coming over there and brokering some kind of peace, and the press called the Taliban, and they said they had never heard of Jesse Jackson.
Right.
And he said, no, they called me. And they actually, like, CNN did a poll, and like 80% of Americans believed the Taliban.
That can't be good.
You know that your credibility is low.
We're going to ask the Taliban again and then get back to you. Now, you, I know this about you because we live in the same neighborhood. You're a New Yorker. You're a New Yorker for a long time. You live in this city. Do you think, everyone's asking me all the time, do you think the city has changed fundamentally? And I don't know. I say, I don't know. But do you have an opinion on this?
I don't, I think, like, as a comedian, the sense of humor has changed a little bit. For example, there's this old classic New York joke, which is a tourist goes up to a New Yorker and says, do you have the time, or should I just go myself? And that's...
We'll
bleep that.
I bet you they end up bleeping that.
I bet you they do.
I bet you NBC puts a liquor ad over that. I think that's what's going to happen. There's going to be a Smirnoff ad over that.
And that's a funny joke. But that's changed now. You had to change because of the time. So now the joke goes like this. A tourist goes up to New Yorker and says, do you have the time? And isn't Mayor Giuliani doing a great job?
That's funny. They didn't go with you on that, or don't you hate the Taliban? Weird crowd tonight.
What I'm saying is, it's not as funny as go yourself, but it is. Oh, hey, you know what?
What?
The people in the edit room, they need the work. They do. I've worked at NBC.
Paid extra.
Yes, they do. Every beat they get a little. The union gets a little.
They
more.
get a little something going.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, let's really give them some cash.
Don't kid yourself.
All right. Well, listen.
Don't kid yourself.
Thank you for taking the time to come here and entertain us, and for all that you're doing for the troops. That's very nice. You're a good man to do it.
It's my pleasure.
Come on, Al Franken. He's better than the Taliban. The Taliban take a break. We'll be right back.